Hey YouTube, I hope everyone is doing well. Today, I just wanted to talk about playing the victim. Now, the reason that I wanted to talk about this subject and everything is because I grew up around this all my life. And it's kind of hard when you sitting there, you have someone who constantly plays the victim to talk to them, because you can sit there and you can try to give helpful criticism to them and they're not going to listen, because they've gotten so much attention from playing the victim that anything you say to them don't matter. So you're trying to set up boundaries and tell them what you want from the relationship and everything like that. They're not going to hear you. And it's hurtful because, like I said, you try and you do it because they're your relatives, they're supposedly your family and everything. So it's like you want to sit there and you want to have a relationship with them. But anytime you bring anything up and you talk to them, they go into this dramatic role and everything. And like I said, they play the victim. And then on top of it, what is like kind of crazy, they try to reverse psychology on you, and they will sit there and pretend like you are the one that's playing the victim. Or what's even worse is they start talking about you to other family members, trying to make you be the bad guy and everything. And I mean, I've learned so much, like I said, I grew up in it, that, going around sitting there trying to clear your name or everything like that was a waste of time and energy. You really have to let people find out for themselves, and they will. And that's the thing about it, because they usually see and they come back to you being like, I am so sorry I felt this way, but such and such said this about you and I just took it to heart and I honestly thought that was true. And so sometimes you're going around other family members and you wondering why they're acting a certain way towards you. Is because this person has sat there and said, we're going to say Sally done sat there and told Roger that, hey, honey, she don't never do nothing. She don't help me. She don't do this. You know what I'm saying? She's a bad person. Don't trust her. Things like that. And you wondering why you go around and all of a sudden they are like, cold towards you and everything like that. Playing the victim, they can also do that with reverse psychology and then manipulate others to turn against you. I think the reason that they do this a lot is because you call them on their bull so much that they don't know what else to do. And that's the reason they try to reverse psychology and everything, is because they're sitting there, they're calling their bull. They know that the victim mentality is no longer working on you. So what else better to do but than to get another gang of people, you know what I'm saying, to be against you just like they are, So it's like you sitting there and you're like wasting all your time. And you're sitting there like talking to them, because usually if you're in a relationship with a person that plays the victim of everything like that, they're close family. They could be parents, they can be loved ones, they can be sister or brother. So you're trying to make the relationship work, but yet and still sometimes it's not even worth fighting for, because that victim mentality that's burned in people sometimes is usually, I hate to say this, but it's a sign of a narcissistic behavior. And it's embedded in them, and they don't want to sit there and take the criticism. They rather do anything else, make all the mistakes in the world, or go and play victim with somebody else because it's not working on you anymore. But they definitely do not want to sit there and self-evaluate. That's the last thing on their mind whatsoever. I know that things happen in life. I mean, it rains on the just and the unjust. So it's like things happen in life, but it's how we take them and how we roll with it. I have my family on YouTube and I love them so much. They are going through, like I said, a hard time, but I have never seen somebody with smiles on their faces even after all the things that they've been through. Because honestly, I couldn't do that. I'm like, okay, when this happened and it knocks me down, I mean, I fall down and sometimes I wallow in it. Sometimes I get depressed about it and everything like that. But eventually I will come out of it. But a victim is not going to do that. It's like, hey, I stumped my big toe today. I stumped my big toe this morning and oh, everything is so terrible. My dog in the cage. Just everything is just so bad. And I'm like, little things. And Lord knows if something big happens, you just gonna pass out because you that dramatic being in your victim mentality that you don't even know how to process emotions really. Like I said, everybody goes through things. We all do, but it's about how we handle it. And some people are more optimistic, you know what I'm saying? And some people are pessimistic. I draw the line. I have like this gray area where I do both, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I tell you guys. I want to be encouraging all the time, but that's not me. But you guys still rock with me, and I appreciate that. I'm like, with me even being pessimistic, you guys still rock with me. So thank you for that, YouTube family. I really appreciate that. And victims, what they really want is attention and love, so they're going to manipulate you any way they possibly can to get it. And if it's to sit there and be dramatic with their emotions all day long, or even the way that they think that you treat them and everything, because usually they're spoiled, they're entitled. Back in the day, we used to call it spoiled. But they're entitled. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that's that dramatic flair. You know what I'm saying? They're the best actors in the world. Because like I say, anything that happens, like I gave the example earlier of stumping their big toe and the dog in the cage that, used the bathroom in the cage, they just gonna go overboard with it. And you don't see everyday people acting like this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe on Telenova or something with this dramatic. You know what I'm saying? So they're always playing the victim no matter what. And you can see it, but they cannot see this. And oh my gosh, it gets on your nerves sometimes. As y'all can see, I'm passionate about this subject. Usually people, believe it or not, that are in this victim mentality, they have deep shame and anger issues and everything that they never resolved. That's the reason they can be so passive aggressive sometimes. Sometimes they seem like sweet, innocent people, and that's the reason they can manipulate other people into believing things about a certain person because they seem like this sweet, genuine person. But when they explode, oh my goodness, it's nothing nice. It's just like the type of person that, and I'm kind of that way as far as keep pushing, and then sometimes you get the bear. That's me, sometimes. So I'm learning a lot because I don't have those triggers anymore. So I'm learning a lot not to do that. But yeah, person with the victim mentality, they have a lot deep-seated anger issues, and that's the reason they do it. They want love and everything, and the only way they know how to do it is have a pity party. They want somebody to feel sorry for them because, like I said, if they can't get positive love attention, they get the negative attention, and they kind of turn that into what they think is love and everything. They feel unworthy. So it's a sad situation, and I think that's why people who have healed already try so much, because we can see what's going on with them. One thing, pity will fade, you know what I'm saying, but being powerful will last forever. And you want the person to be in their power, like I said, because they are a loved one. Like I said, I grew up around this. And I mean, when I say I grew up around this, it wasn't just one person in the household. It was more than one. So you want them to be powerful. You want them to step into their power. But it's so hard to convince them because usually they have had that victim mentality all their lives. And sometimes it's like, even I've seen it. You go through therapy and everything, and it still didn't work for the people. They still chose the victim mentality and everything. And like I said, it's really sad because, again, you want to help. But usually if you are dealing with someone who's doing the victim mentality and everything like that, if you're not living with them, it's not a spouse or anything like that, you can leave. You don't have to be in that friendship or whatever, or that even that work relationship or whatever, because sometimes we have people, friend workers, the co-workers. You don't have to be in a relationship with anybody that's going to sit there and drain you. You can't change anybody. So dealing with a person that's in that victim mentality constantly is going to deplete you. And so the best advice I can, if it's not a parent and you're not underage, is like, sometimes you have to withdraw, just to save yourself. self-preservation there. I'm hoping this helped you guys today. Again, I really appreciate all of you. My new subscribers, I really thank you so much. And y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.